Alright, we gotta get this done. The archetype name is Hakai. I could do like a Dragon Ball Super thing. Just like Hakai, and then we'll blow something up. Does that feel like it?
What is that?
No, you know, Dragon Ball Super, it's the god of destruction. He goes, Hakai!
I'll stop you. I'm fairly certain nobody's ever seen Dragon Ball Super.
No, oh no, it was very popular.
No,
like
I don't even think it exists.
No, okay, first of all,
Yeah,
it is upsetting to me that you don't understand.
It's not going to be funny because
what
nobody knows what Dragon Ball Super is.
No, they're going to get it.
No one's
they're
going
to
to
get it, right?
It's not funny.
No, it is.
We didn't
You're
do
not
it
too high
It's gonna be
the
really
standard
bad.
for comedy.
Joe, what's your backup plan?
Backup plan?
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. So today we're playing Hakai after a very successful stream of TD Hakai, which everyone liked a lot. But despite the fact that that video was almost universally loved, I've decided to deviate from that build and play something a little bit better. Presenting Hakai Pure. So here's the list, and yep, that's a week 1 brew. Look at this, just about 3 of everything plus hand traps. Disgusting. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. So firstly, for those of you that don't know, Hakai is an archetype that, and I mean, you're going to want to sit down for this one because, oh my god, you are going to lose it. It's an archetype that pluses when its cards are destroyed. I know. We are really breaking new ground, and I cannot applaud Konami enough for continuing to explore every nook and cranny of design space with such innovative, exciting, unique designs. Alongside this old played-out premise, however, is a legitimately cool ability, the ability to link summon using your opponent's monsters. By floating into the correct Hakai guy at the correct time, you can tear apart even the most Thunder Dragon of boards. Our list attempts to make use of this ability by blind seconding in order to allow our opponent to set up. After all, you can't use their monsters for your machinations without them having monsters. Just like Dating Me, blinding second comes with a lot of baggage. Thankfully, unlike Dating Me, said baggage involves less apologizing for your fiancé's Mark's cosplay and introducing him as an influencer, and more playing flexible, advantageous cards like Dino Wrestler Pankratops, Twin Twisters, and as many hand traps as you can handle. Hopefully, this will be enough to play through the Penta-Negate setups possible in every playable deck and blow their board to bits by repeatedly ranking up. So with that, let's get into the card by card. We're playing 3 Aura, who can special summon themselves by destroying a card you control, and 3 Raika, who can destroy a card as a quick effect. Both, when destroyed by another Hakai, float into any of the others, though usually you're summoning the good boy, Hakaishin Magatama. We're playing 2 of this because it is awful to draw, but you absolutely need it to begin busting your opponent's bunkuses. After that is the going second special, 3 Pankratops, followed by our hand traps of choice, Ash Blossom, and Ghost Ogre, who in a pinch can pop our own monsters. For spells, we're on 3 copies of Shackles, the Rhoda, and 3 copies of Whale, which pops a card when Hakai is link summoned. Don't worry about these. The important part of all the spells and traps is that they special summon a Hakai when they're destroyed. We're also on 3 Called, 3 Twin Twister, and 2 Super Polymerization. For traps, we're on 3 Hakai Homily, which pops a Hakai and another card, 3 Hakai Dual Dirge, which specials a Hakai from the hand, and 3 Infip. In the extra, we're on 2 of each Hakai, 2 of the Link 4, which pops a card when a card is popped, when a monster is destroyed, and at the end phase, 2 of the Link 3, which can rank up as a slow effect, and 2 of the Link 2, who can rank up quickly on your opponent's turn. After that are Nightmares Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus, followed by a polycule of Almarduk, Titan, Starving Venom, Chimera, Muddragon, and Violet. Just trying to cast the most YGO Pro net possible. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against True Draco Cosmo. This is a very spiritual one for me because I must eradicate my past self. You can see that we opened quite well, though our opponent is going first. We have the hand traps to deal with it. They're going to lead with a copy of Dragonic Diagram, and we will Ghost Ogre, Shades of Zoo format. They'll normal summon a copy of Cosmo Sword Troopers and pass. For turn, we draw a copy of Shackles. We'll special summon a copy of Pankratops before activating it. We'll normal summon a copy of Raika, and then target our set Shackles to get a copy of the Doggy from our deck. We'll target our opponent's monster, and they will port out into a Landwalker. Thankfully, that is a Cosmo that can be targeted, so as soon as they try to end their main phase, we're going to Link Summon that sucker away, and they'll concede. So a particularly quick game won, and it came incredibly close to revealing one of the main weaknesses of this strategy. You have to be able to target the opponent's monster with which you are performing a Link Summon. Our second match is up against Evil Eye, and boy is Celine gonna make that difficult. We are going second, as always. Our opponent's hand, thankfully, is garbage. They'll set 3 and pass back to us. We draw a copy of Ash Blossom, which will be perfect for that metaverse. We're going to normal summon a copy of Rika, destroy our set Whale to get a copy of Aura from deck before getting a second one with Shackles, destroying our Rika on field to get the Pupper, and then getting in for 3,000. It's not a lot, but putting Evil Eye at anything under 8,000 is a step in the right direction. We go into Raiga afterwards, which prompts a Solemn Strike from our opponent. We'll set 1 card and then Ash their end-step metaverse. For turn they draw a card of demise. So they'll set their hand, and what do they find? But of course, Domain. They'll normal summon a copy of Serziel. We have to Ghost Ogre because we cannot beat it if it has the Evil Eye equipped. They'll set 2 cards and send Medusa to graveyard. We draw Homily, which is fine. We'll get in for 1,500 points of damage, and then at end step, they'll HSD our set cards. We can chain the Called by the Grave to prevent the Serziel from coming back and trigger the effect of Homily, but we can't deal lethal damage. For turn, our opponent draws a trap. They're going to activate Evil Eye Awakening to bring back Medusa, and now we have to get creative. They're taking a fair amount of damage by activating Medusa's effect here, and suddenly I have another win condition in mind. Since the Pupper gets attack based on how many Hakai cards are in graveyard, eventually we should be able to outscale this copy of Medusa. They're going to set an Infinite Impermanence after attacking into our copy of Aura. We'll trigger it, getting a Rika from deck, and this should be the critical turn. For turn we draw a copy of Infinite Impermanence. We'll switch our Pupper to attack position. Our opponent will go ahead and activate the effect of Medusa to put her over the Pupper, which means that we will be able to kill them in their own standby phase on the mandatory activation of Medusa's effect and Evil Eye's burn. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing Striker, and their hand is... I don't know. Like most Striker hands, it's going to depend on the quality of card they find off of Area 0. Inversely, we know our hand sucks. We have a copy of the Pupper, a couple of Hakai traps we can't possibly trigger, and some hand traps and hand trap related accessories. Let's hope for the best. Our opponent's going to set Area 0, hit their set card, and anything but Ray. Anything but Ray. And of course. Afterwards, they're going to normal summon a copy of Ray, go into a copy of Shizuku, set 2, and while we do have the Infinite Impermanence, we have about exactly 1 turn to wrap this sucker up. We draw a Hakai spell for turn, and because we can't trigger it, we'll pass it back. Our opponent's going to activate Area 0, and wow, there's the multi-roll, like clockwork. They're going to activate the effect of Hayate in the battle phase, so they can send a copy of Engage to the graveyard, and shields down, it's time to pop off. First, they're going to activate the effect of multi-roll, so they have 3 spells in graveyard, then they'll draw some cards, go into Shizuku, set 1, and while we can negate the Shizuku with our copy of Called by the Grave, we can't negate the effect of multi-roll. We have to hit Widow Anchor with this Pankratops. We'll aim for it, but they have a Called by the Grave. We can still maybe make something happen. We're going to activate Dual Dirge to special summon the Pupper from our hand, reveal Will, they'll activate Widow Anchor, we'll activate Homily, and this is a sweet little chain that allows us to get rid of their copy of Multi-Roll. Unfortunately, that's completely meaningless because they have a second copy of Engage. They'll activate Multi-Roll in their set card, they'll shuffle back the Metal Foes Fusion, go into Hayate, get in for 1,500 points of damage, send another Engage to the graveyard before activating Jamming Wave, going into Shizuku, and going to End Step. That's a little embarrassing for me, and for turn we draw something that's completely useless. We're going to activate the effect of Aura. Of course, it doesn't trigger on face-up cards, and concede. Alright, so it's time for game 2, and yikes! Our hand does not look much better than it did in the last one. At the very least, we have a copy of Shackles this time, so we'll be able to find a Hakai to turn on these traps, but I can't imagine, I don't know, finding a use for super polymerization. Our opponent's hand, inversely, looks great. They're going to lead with a Terraforming for a copy of Mystic Mine. They'll activate Multi-Roll on Area 0, which gives us a pretty good window to hand trap, but they'll find another Multi-Roll with an Engage, and god, this is a soft OPT, my word. They'll go into a copy of Kagari to get back this copy of Engage, and now that they have 3, they'll draw an additional card off of it, go into Shizuku, set 2, and then do the Shizuku Shuffle at end step. This is bad news for us, but not the end of the world. For turn, we draw a copy of Infinite Impermanence. We're going to activate Shackles to get a copy of Aura. We'll trigger Aura's effect, and then trigger the effect of Dirge to get a copy of Rika. We'll set an additional card, activate Rika's effect, they'll activate Widow Anchor, and, well, since this is a quick effect, I feel pretty good about passing here. Our opponent's going to draw for turn, it's a copy of FB Goods. They'll activate Area 0, Multi-Roll targeting the Area 0, Widow Anchor taking our copy of Aura, I'll activate Homily targeting the Multi-Roll, they'll activate Widow Anchor taking our copy of Rika, and I'll activate Super Polymerization! Because Shizuku is water, apparently. Afterwards, we're going to get the good boy and activate the effect of our copy of Mud Dragon to make it dark so our opponent can't target it. They're going to activate Engage and, oh wow, they can keep popping off. They'll activate Multi-Roll, activate the effect of Hercules Base, which allows them to go into a copy of Kagari again. That Kagari is going to add back a copy of Widow Anchor. They'll hit Spell Mining Cave, and then activate Shizuku at end step. They'll shuffle once again, setting 2 cards, and we draw for turn. We can't win under Mystic Mine, so we have to go into the Link so it destroys itself in end step, but this is game over for us. They're going to activate Eagle Booster, we'll activate Raiga's effect, they'll activate Widow Anchor, and that's the end of the game. Afterwards, they're going to set Area 0, they'll activate Multi-Roll to get a copy of Ray from deck, they'll go into Appaloosa, big flex, but I can't destroy this monster. So we're back with the deck, and I mean, after a couple of weeks of mid-tier decks walking away with the best of 3, it feels nice to actually lose one. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, it's an interesting gimmick. I mean, not the popping. The popping is about the lamest, most overdone, snore-inducing mechanic ever. But the linking with opponents' monsters is both unique and good at negating a significant amount of setup. 2, it's consistent. And every single card having the pop effect means you're almost always able to find the Hakai guys, and they snowball into each other extremely easily. And 3, going second is sweet. I mean, Pankratops, Super Poly, and Twin Twisters are amazing payoffs, and I will take any excuse to jam them. And the cons. 1, it doesn't have enough cards yet. It just needs another couple of monsters before it's going to be particularly capable in any capacity. 2, there's a concrete choke point. If they're able to bounce, destroy, or negate the summon of your good boy, they're able to prevent you from beating the board they've built. And 3, it's a little one note. I mean, the deck does the same thing the same way most of the time, and honestly, it gets old after about 30 seconds of target my set Hakai spell summon. All in all, the Super Poly linking is interesting, but until we see more enablers, this archetype is definitely destroyed on arrival. So that's that. While I appreciate all of my viewers, a special thanks to my patrons, especially Colin Whalen, Michael Saumure, Adam Trevino, Adrian Bra, Distrin, Isaac Jackson, Lieutenant Labcoat, Lucas Geardas, and Second. If you want to see me play the decks I make on this show on stream, I'm on twitch.tv/mbtygo every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.